Welcome to another episode of Dan Excelsior. This is the live weekly podcast discussing the latest Marvel happenings across all media. But even if it's not from the House of Ideas, if it's big and related to superheroes, it's on our radars. This episode is being recorded on the evening of Friday, March 19th, 2021. My name is Dennis, and with me is my distinguished nerd panel. The first one we've got for you is somebody I can't seem to shake today. I know we're all in quarantine and we're all doing our own thing, but I swear I've been hanging out with this human being all day today. It's Ricky.
Heyo, long time no see.
Yeah.
Let's try not to act like we were drunk 4 hours ago watching the Snyder Cut.
We did some day drinking today and watched the Snyder Cut, and it was weird. And we also did that with our usual co-host Frank, and I promise he will be here at some point, but he's not here at the moment because just life got in the way. So he will be here shortly, and we will all be happy when Frank shows up. But he was with us all day as well doing the Snyder Cut. But we do have a special guest today, and if you've followed us before when we did the We Have Spoken podcast, you've met him before. But we're happy to have our special friend who's come back, and he plans to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier with us. He actually ended his subscription to Disney Plus after The Mandalorian ended, and he was gracious enough to re-up today just for this show. So welcome back, Coker.
Hi,
okay,
what's happening? Thanks,
up,
man.
Coke? Yeah,
always good to hang out with you guys.
Thanks for joining us. I promised you like a few days ago when we said come join us. It'll be me and Ricky, and this time we got Frank now on the show because it's way better with having more people, and then there's no Frank.
I'm only here for the Frank. This is ridiculous.
You just stuck with me.
Yeah.
Oh, we lied. God. Frank's never
Ricky
been
again. Here. Jeez. I guess I'll hang out. Whatever.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out to anybody who may be consuming the audio version of this, because we do stream this on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube, but this also ends up on streaming sites for for Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and stuff. If you're wondering what happened to last week's episode because you never got to hear it, that was a weird one, and we decided not to put that one up on
archived.
Audio. So I promise it did not translate well to audio. It barely translated to video, but you're welcome to go back and check it out at YouTube or Twitch or Facebook Live.
Dude, yes. After hearing that, I have to ask, what did Frank do that was so awful?
No, so we did a thing, and I'm proud of the results. I am proud of the result, but I think the execution may not have been perfect for this show.
It was very visual heavy, I'll say that.
Yes, so we decided to do a draft of all of our predictions for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but we did our bingo cards that we drafted to are all on Google Sheets.
Mm-hmm.
It's a giant. It was us staring at like an Excel document for basically 2 hours plus. It was a lot. The end result is cool. We now have bingo cards that we plan on using.
You even get a card too, Coke.
Yeah, you as the guest gets to play along, and so we have a card for the guest to be invested in, and as much or as little as they want to. But anyways, yeah, it just didn't translate to audio. We all kind of made the executive decision on over the weekend, and we're like, we're not going to upload this. It's weird. So apologies for.
It makes sense. That's why Carrot Top doesn't have any albums. He's a prop comic. It just doesn't always translate. I totally understand.
That was an excellent analogy.
It's funny.
I would imagine it's true because I
don't know for sure, but I wouldn't think so.
I'm windy doesn't really translate without you seeing him. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. In any case, I think this might be a good indication of the fun show we have planned for today. Obviously we're dying to talk about the season premiere of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The first episode came out today. But before we dive into that, we do have some news and rumors to discuss. Like Ricky always likes to prepare those for us. We're also going to have a brief chat on a nerd topic of my choosing today. And stick around after for more Multiverse Bingo, where we actually check in to see how we're doing with our predictions. As a reminder, this is also a chance for you to pick our brains with any marvelous trivia or points of confusion that you may have. We'll be checking the comments throughout the show. I'm going to check them right now because I realized I hadn't been. Coker, feel free to click on that comment section over on the right-hand side so you can see what people are saying to us. And then for those of you that can't get enough of us, you can visit patreon.com/denxmedia immediately after this podcast ends for our live post show, The Soapbox, where we wind down and talk about stuff we didn't get
uncut and uncensored.
It's uncut and uncensored. Anything that we didn't get to in the first 1.5 hours of this show, you know what I mean? I can't promise a lot, but it is more of us. So if you enjoy us, why not check it out? And with, I'm checking over on the comment section, and welcome, Sea Cow Soda. I hope that everyone is wondering what happened last week, because that's kind of the fun of it, right? See, there's her question. Welcome. All right. I think that's enough of the preamble. I think it's time for, I guess, either us to chat more if you like, or we could just get to the news.
Let's do the news.
All right.
Alrighty. Kind of a little lighter of a news week. Not a ton of big announcements, but let's just kind of run through them. First up, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I didn't realize it had like a subtitle.
Oh, yeah, I knew it had a subtitle.
Has been delayed again until September.
Is because all movies will be delayed until September. At least.
This one, they had rescheduled it for, I don't know the specific date in May, but it was going to go up against Fast and Furious 9. And in the current state of theaters, I would not want to go up against Fast and Furious 9 if I'm trying to launch a movie.
I guess.
But
I have zero expectations when it comes to theatrical releases right now, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Pretty unpredictable.
Yeah.
I keep on forgetting Andy Serkis is directing this, so I'm curious on that front.
I assume he's going to be in it too. He's Gollum. Come on, like he's made a career off of being CG creatures. Like, why wouldn't he want to be a giant, gooey venom monster at some point?
Did he direct the last Apes movie?
No.
It was all Matt Reeves.
Yeah, I think Matt Reeves did all three of them.
Does Serkis? I don't follow his career. Has he directed before?
I think he has, but not very many. So this is going to be one of his first big budget directorial movies.
That's cool. Yeah. Talented dude. I'm very curious to see what he's going to do on the flip side of the camera. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, with some more Marvel movie news, we got a new. I guess not movie news, but we enter for the Loki TV show.
I think it's fair to say that when we ask you to go curate the news, that you're just going to find things that you like and show them to us. And
I mean, it's a slow news week.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's a cute poster. I'm excited. I'm pretty sure it's gonna
on the time variance.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna involve Loki messing with time, because that's I don't know if you've seen the previews for this one, Coker, but remember how in Endgame when they went back in time and Loki took off with a Infinity Stone?
Yep.
It's the space stone, right? He took off with the Tesseract. Yeah, he took off with the space stone. It's the space stone. Yep. And then he just disappeared into somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
this is somewhere else.
and this is him. This is him being supposedly detained by time police because he screwed up time and he made its own. He made his own new branching timeline. I think is.
Yeah, that's a.
I'm guessing that's why there's a clock behind him. You know.
Yeah.
Just a fan of watches.
Yeah.
Here's one. Here's some. This is more speculation, but some Marvel Legends on the toy front. They're going to be coming out with an Infinity Saga line of toys. I believe it's a 10 toys, 2 of which are going to be 2-packs, all based around the Infinity Saga from the MCU. So everything up to Endgame.
Yeah, that's a pretty giant, broad blanket they're throwing out there. But I read about this too, like just because I collect all the Marvel Legends stuff. But it sounds to me like Hasbro is gonna dip back into the well one more time, and
the money pit.
They're gonna see what characters they have not made toys of from the last 13 years of movies, because technically all the Marvel movies are part of what's called the Infinity Saga. So
then they even had the 10-year line. 2 years ago now?
Right, and
where
so
they went back and got people they missed.
Since they can't do a 10-year anniversary line because we're now in year 13, they'll call it the Infinity Saga line. It's cool.
Who do you want that's missing?
I think we never got a toy of Whiplash. Mickey Rourke's character. I think honestly, Iron Man 3 has so many cool armors, that get blowed up. You could make toys of that forever.
Is there a Pepper?
There is a Pepper from that movie, and it was released in that line from the 10-year line. There's so many things like what's Happy? What about Happy? John Favreau's character.
Oh yes, sir.
Hey, make a toy of Happy. You could make anybody.
You could get. We haven't gotten unmasked Iron Man from Endgame, right?
I think no, we have not. I think another obvious one is we have not gotten armored up Thor in his heavy set look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
true.
They used to call the toys Fat Thor, but then people started saying that's fat shame or that's body shaming him. So they call him Bro Thor or Dude Thor or whatever. But they've only ever made a toy of him in his sweatpants and robe. They have not made Hasbro has only made a toy of that. So they've never made Miek. Yeah, you could get Miek to go with Korg.
You guys are missing out on a clear gold mine. The one that everybody wants is Old Man Steve Rogers. That needs to happen.
I would want that.
That would be the bomb.
Use the Stanley body.
That'd be perfect.
There's a Stanley figure they made last year. It's a tribute to all of his appearances. He is holding the shield, and you could just give me a different head for that.
Yeah, there you go. Throw some aged Chris Evans in there, and bam.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Staying on the Cap train, we got a new Captain America. Aaron Fisher is going to be the next person to don the shield. The Captain America of the railways. Yep. This is part of the, I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago. There's a new Captain America story arc involving all the past Captain Americas teaming up.
Right.
But the new one to join the ranks is Aaron Fisher. And
that's not Bucky with the missing arm.
Not Bucky with the missing arm.
My bad.
And what's unique about this character?
He is a fearless teen who steps up to protect fellow runaways and unhoused people, and he is a LGBTQ plus hero as well.
That's cool.
It's kind of neat, to see, Captain America, he obviously stands for America, so it's nice to see that the symbol of him is reflecting the diversity of this country. So,
well said, Ricky. Well said. I like that. I dig the overalls. I think they're cool. The railways, huh? That's interesting. Yeah.
There you go. Action shot right there.
That's cool.
I don't know what
is that a garbage can lid?
A garbage can lid.
I think it's a trash can lid.
Look like it.
That's cool.
They all can't be vibranium shields.
Yeah. in the comic, it's vibranium and adamantium hybrid.
And that's all the news. There are a few other things here and there, like Funko news, but we don't talk about Funkos anymore. So
Whoa. It's gonna be awkward when we're sponsored by Funko. We're not though. But Coker, what do you think of that news? Like, what is there anything that struck out to you, or anything that you're interested in learning more about?
I'm really afraid to ask this question because conversations with you, in particular, Dennis, on subjects
Welcome,
like
Frank.
this, always Frank the Tank.
Yo.
He hasn't saved you, by the way. You still have to answer my question.
Oh,
no,
okay.
You don't have to answer. You're good. I'll take the question.
It's probably better if I don't answer, but I'm gonna be stupid anyway. Because Dennis, you always cost me money when I start going down this path. Those figures that you were talking about, what size are they? How's the articulation? What do they look like? I don't think I've seen them before.
Marvel
I know.
Legends.
Big mistake.
Marvel Legends are 6-inch figures, 6-inch scale. So like, there you go. There's a deluxe one on a bike. That's a Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Sick.
But they're 6-inch scale, which means it means that a 6-foot person translates to 6 inches,
right?
In figure form. And then they're super articulated. They have like about 24-ish to 30 points of articulation, something like that. So double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, bicep swivels, rotating shoulders, and they're pretty awesome. You can get them a lot of cool poses and stuff. If you ever want, you can go check out my toy videos like Legends in 30, and you can see me pose some of my figures.
Hanging out with Dennis, I know way too much about these damn toys. And
but the cool thing about that toy, the cool thing about that toy line is it actually existed way before Hasbro had the license to Marvel. So it existed back in the 90s. Marvel was actually bought by a toy company named Toy Biz, and it was like a weird co-ownership thing. I can't remember the exact logistics of it, but Toy Biz had their own comic company to work with, so they just got to make Marvel toys because they were just the same company, and they decided that they wanted to try and make toys that were more for the adult collector. Or I think they don't like to say it like that, but they really wanted to make toys where you could recreate the poses that you see in the comics. You know what I mean? And so they started by trying to do that with Spider-Man. So they tried to make Spider-Man toys that were way more articulated than anything in the past. And then those were so popular that they just blew it up to the whole thing. And then after a few years, actually, surprisingly, in the 2000s, I think Marvel went bankrupt, and they ended up splitting or being sold, separating from Toy Biz. And those were the dark days of Marvel, right before they got their plan together to make movies and stuff. And eventually Hasbro bought the license. And so Hasbro realized that there was already a built-in customer base. So they actually carried over the brand name and just kept making more and more figures to go with that collection. So what you end up having is a collection that started in like 2000, I think, like 2000 or 2003, 2003, I think 2003, something like that. Yeah. So like 19 years ago, that's been running. And so and then they expanded it outside of just the comics to include figures of the movies. And then they include figures from the video games, and they'll make anything. If it's Marvel, it sells, So I've got like about 800 or 900 figures.
Just out of curiosity, you mentioned Marvel went through bankruptcy and then they decided to start making movies. Did that help at all? Have they seen any success in that arena?
I think they're still struggling a little bit.
Not in my opinion.
Okay. Gotcha.
Not in your opinion.
Not in my success is measured by something other than money, Marvel. Toy Biz 2002, by the way.
2002 is when it went away?
No, 2002 to 2006 is Toy Biz when they had Marvel Legends, and then 2000 is Hasbro.
But they actually, technically, the Spider-Man line is not called Marvel Legends, and it came out before.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah, it was before. But yeah.
I don't remember. What's the Spider-Man line?
Spider-Man Classics.
Spider-Man Classics. I used to shove toys down my pants to steal them from Kmart when they had a Kmart by my house. So I'd go by the old toy store and just shove a bunch of toys down my pants, and they'd be like, "What do you have? What do you have in your pants?" I'd be like, "That's my dick," and it's like Batman's like cape and shit.
We should clarify. It was a long time ago when you were like in your 30s.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Kmart
I was
still in business
at the tender age of 35. So, yeah, when Kmart was still in business, that should give you an indication of how long it was, actually.
But Coker, I'm sure that was more information than you wanted, but I am always happy to share that.
Fascinating. I did want to ask Frank though, what you drinking, buddy?
Oh, my man. Heck
Nerds of a feather. Nerds of a feather.
Man. This is awkward.
Filet all day.
Heck yeah.
Falcon Winter Soldier promo tie-in.
I ate nothing all day because we were watching the Snyder Cut all day, and my dear wife, who made me buy her a car. That's another conversation. That's why I'm late, actually.
That's for the soapbox tonight.
Yeah, she was nice enough to buy me some Chick-fil-A, but I didn't get to touch it till 7 o'clock today. So it's been sitting on the counter for about 7 hours. But I savored every little bit of it, though. Like I licked the crumbs. Like I was thorough.
Respect.
I can't help but point out the awkward irony of us celebrating the LGBTQ plus Captain America earlier and then immediately shifting to promoting Chick-fil-A. So you guys made this awkward.
You gotta separate church and state.
Yeah,
they make fine chicken sandwiches, but I don't agree with their politics.
You know, my wife doesn't agree with something they do when they I say thank you and they go, "My pleasure." My pleasure. Like I'm all like, don't say it like that, and then like my wife's just giving me stink eye, wife look, and I'm all like, oh god.
They are very polite. Although I think if we're trying to out polite other restaurants, I think In-N-Out takes them as far as the politeness of the staff. I have never had less than a stellar experience with the friendliness of the people at In-N-Out. I don't know why we're going here. Dennis, bring us back. Get the train back on the track.
It got weird, and I was just kind of letting it go. I just wanted to see where it goes because I was very excited about Frank's enthusiasm. He's got a lot of energy, which is fun because I think I'm hoping some of it is because he just finished watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm excited to talk about that. But I want to see if we can spend this energy on a little bit of other stuff really quick, just to see So I decided it'd be fun to give us a little conversational appetizer. So I came up with a question of the day. So I know we're going to talk a lot about Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we're not gonna. It doesn't leave us a lot of time for the other thing that did hit this week, which is
Hawkeye and the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
No, but by the way, that hit, and I already finished the content in 3 or 4 hours, and it was kind of meh, whatever. But yeah, but yeah, Marvel's Avengers is on PS5 now, and it's pretty much the same game, so whatever. But no, the other news, which also came out the same day, is the Justice League Snyder cut, or I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is what it's called on HBO Max. And it is interesting that like Frank and Ricky and I were mentioning, we decided to make a fun thing out of it. It'll probably go up as an edited video at some point in the near future. But excuse me, we thought it'd be fun to record ourselves drinking moderate to heavily while watching that 4-hour experience. We had to break it up into chunks because it was a lot. It was a lot of alcohol in front loaded for some of us.
I ate a whole pizza on stream.
Yes, he did eat a whole pizza. It was a lot. But at the end of the day, I think we ultimately kind of liked that movie, and for various reasons. But I just wanted to ask the question, because I know, Coker, you haven't had the chance to see it, but I think you're familiar with what it is. And it's basically the fans were pretty upset at the firing of Zack Snyder, which resulted in Joss Whedon finishing up the movie that was released in 2017, a movie that disappointed a lot of fans. And a lot of diehard Zack Snyder fans were really insistent on the fact that there exists a version out there of that movie that we'll never get to see, and it's the better Zack Snyder vision, And so that really gained a lot of momentum in social media over the course of a few years. And when HBO was trying to build out this streaming service, HBO Max, and it's not nearly as successful as Disney Plus so far. About a year ago, they announced that HBO Max this March would release Zack Snyder's version of the movie, and he was given an extra $50+ million and allowed to bring actors back for reshoots. And he was also actually allowed to just add scenes that were never actually going to be or weren't necessarily going to be in the original vision. And so it ends up creating this weird thing because, everybody's who cares saw the original one in 2017. And everybody who cares criticized it or applauded it for whatever reasons. And so Zack Snyder's had this benefit that a lot of directors don't get, which is hindsight, right?
Yep.
He's had 4 years, plus a quarantine to sit around and be like, how do I fix this movie? And so my question for you guys is, like, Ricky, if you want to put it up for us, how do you see the Snyder Cut impacting the relationship between the fans and the studios?
Hey, you changed that.
I did. I wanted to make it more open-ended for us.
Okay.
And I wanted to keep you on your toes.
All right.
I think it's good. Like I'll never. You can. I don't think you can ever be mad at the studio taking a step back and listening to what the fans are asking and giving it to them. Now, is the Snyder Cut, that much better? It did, does it add that much more? That's a different argument, but I think it's only for the better. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, and this is not too dissimilar from the situation the Sonic movie faced when it came out earlier, last year, when they dropped that first trailer and that Sonic thing looked bad, and people complained. People were vocal, but the studio took a step back and listened, and they made a damn good Sonic movie.
Yeah.
So I only see this as a plus.
I think Sonic was the last movie I actually saw in theaters before the lockdown went down, because I think it came out in like February of 2020. But I would like to add to that, like, yes, it's kind of the same thing, except that Sonic looked like a horrible freaking monster, and he needed to be fixed. All right, I'm just saying.
That joke landed way better earlier.
Of course, because we were
I was laughing. I was like doing the choke laugh thing.
We were super drunk earlier. Everything was funnier.
That's true too. Yeah.
We have sobered up.
That Joker scene was pretty funny.
But it's not necessarily meant to be a joke. It's you guys just found it to be a joke. I'm serious though. Like, he looked awful. Like, he did.
Yeah, that was bad. That was
he had like
bad.
white hands and weird teeth and
yeah. What do you think, Coke? I mean, what you've done with, you worked you worked on the Tony Hawk remaster, right, last year?
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but I mean, it's kind of a similar idea, right?
I mean, yeah, I've worked in gaming for a long time, and I think it's a situation. It's for the great majority of people. It's really wonderful that a product came out, they weren't happy with it, and somebody took responsibility and said, "Hey, we'll try to do it better." I think it's proof that people are out there listening. The internet, your voice on the internet is heard, but I think there's a small majority that didn't need this, or a small section of people. Yes, small majority. It's silly, but no, there's a small group of people out there that really didn't need this to happen, because there are always going to be those people, you can't control this, who are now going to see this as, oh, well, if I throw a big enough tantrum, I'll get what I want.
Sure.
I'll make the giants listen to me. Again, I think that's a sliver of the pie. I love the fact that the studio said, well, you know what? We that was a hot steamer, and the people weren't happy, so we need to see if we can make some good out of it. And that's a good thing.
I'm almost certain though, like Warner Brothers did the math on it. It's like, all right, this thing cost us $50 million for Zach to go back and shoot some stuff and play around with the edit. Is that worth the press we're gonna get for doing it? and I'm sure that number was in the
Yes.
green, and they said let's
I think
do
they
it.
got a lot of press for it over
You
the
know.
last few years.
But
and I think they got a lot this week too. A lot.
But like, do you think a Disney would do the same thing with, like, let's say everyone gets around and says, "Hey, I want to see the Lord Miller solo cut." You know, do you think they would bend to that will?
Hell no. Disney doesn't want to bend to our will. Disney doesn't give a shit what we want, to be honest. They don't. They don't.
You know.
Really? You really think that they don't? You think?
I think they do eventually. They'll get around to it eventually. Will we get a Lord and Miller cut? Hell no. No, Disney's not going to do that. But what they will give us is something that mimics that later on, or something that has things that maybe Lord and Miller were gonna put in the movie, but then decided not to later on.
Do you think
that's how Disney rolls?
Do you think Marvel will ever give us the Edgar Wright Ant-Man?
No, definitely not. And Marvel likes to burn their bridges with people. I think what's his name? Guardians of the Galaxy guy is a definite. What's that?
James Gunn?
Yeah, James Gunn is definitely an exception to that rule, because he was like James Gunn excommunicado, and then he was just cut off. That was it. But hold on. So he was cut off, and then all of a sudden, like, he was brought back in. He's all like, "Oh wait, I forgot that you made us a lot of money. Here, you can do Guardians 3." I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I kind of thought that they liked cutting or burning their bridges until I saw them all get together for the giant 10-year celebration. And they brought back pretty much everybody except Ed Norton and Terrence Howard. Like, for like that giant photo shoot. They even brought back Joss, who hadn't been involved in the movies for a long time. They brought back the director of The Incredible Hulk, Louis Leterrier. Mm-hmm. They brought back like all these people that I just kind of thought they'd said, "Nah, we're done with you. We don't need you anymore." You know, like obviously I don't think they brought back Edgar Wright, but you know, but
does
like
he get credit on that movie.
But do you think they're going to bring back Cara Dune? Yeah, like she's done. Like Cara Dune.
Well, that's not Marvel.
Do you think if we wail loud enough that we can actually bring her back?
I don't know.
Do you think that'll happen?
Oof.
I don't know, but I do like where this conversation went. So this is fun.
Yeah, I don't think Disney will do it.
But that's the difference though. Like, if we were to say, "Hey, I want Cara Dune," I have zero doubt Disney will be like, "Bring her back." If
zero doubt,
like, yeah,
you have zero doubt.
Zero doubt.
Zero doubt that they'll bring her back.
Nah, I don't see that happening.
But like,
it'd be interesting.
On the flip side, though, the Amber Heard stuff with Aquaman, I'm sure she appears to be in the clear in terms of she's coming back for the next movie. But if, let's say, she was scorched, you know, you don't want her attached to that movie, and people demanded her back, I would argue Warner would bring her back, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Warner's more lenient towards doing that. Like, they put her in the Snyder cut,
yeah,
despite her finger cutting. Like, I'm sure, like, it kind of lended itself to the character, though, right? Like, she wanted to kill a bunch of people, so that makes sense.
The flip side, they did recast Johnny Depp in the Harry Potter movie thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just feel Warner Brothers is more likely to do it. They're more likely to bend the knee to the crowd. Disney doesn't really care too much what the crowd wants overall.
But in general, I think you guys are in favor of us getting a second take on certain stories if it's warranted, right? Like
it absolutely can be a good thing. And by the way, if I want to see this Snyder cut, is it on Disney Plus?
It's on HBO Max.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes, it is not on Disney Plus.
The X-rated part of Disney Plus.
Are you using HBO Max? Because if you're not, I highly recommend that to you. I'm not a shill for Disney. As much as you guys, as much as it might seem like we are.
HBO Max has some good stuff.
Yeah,
especially if you like Harry Potter. I wanted to plug my Harry Potter podcast.
No, we're not plugging that until later tonight. That's not happening.
Okay.
But no, it's a cool experience. Like I thought I had a lot of fun having memories come back of the original movie and seeing how much of it was originally still in the old movie.
Yeah, and we were Mandela affected the whole time.
Yeah, it was quite a Mandela effect because we're like, wait, that scene wasn't in the original, or that was, or
Sinbad was a genie.
Yeah, Sinbad was a genie, and he was Shazam.
He was Shazam. Yeah, Shazam.
Yeah, but I think we can switch over to the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff because we could keep talking about this for a long time, but I think if you
can I make one more note on that?
Yeah, sure.
So like the special editions and cuts and stuff like that, like George Lucas did it, right? And he used hindsight to make his special editions, and like some of them are pretty cool, some of them are not. But there's a lot of changes that he made that I thought were really cool, like the addition of the maneuverability of the X-wings, and like extra scenes with the Wampa and the Wampa cave. That all that stuff was kind of cool.
I mean, I didn't mind him adding like Anakin at the end of
I did.
Jedi.
Okay. Too far. You've gone too far, Ricky.
Can we all agree that even if Lucas did try something really cool to revitalize the franchise the first time, he might have overstepped one too many times because he kept retinkering with those movies over and over to the point where when Star Wars finally ended up on Disney, they had to correct the Han shot first scene for the fourth time. I think
I think the difference with what he did was he did it because he wanted to do it. I don't think he did it because the fans were saying, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if this? We would like to see that." I think it was just, "Hey, I'm going to tinker." Bam.
Sure,
exactly.
Sure. Yeah. And another example of "Hey, I want to tinker" is what I was bringing up with Terminator 2 Special Edition. They did a whole bunch of stuff where they added Michael Biehn in the movie. I guess he had a scene that was cut. They added that. They showed more of the abuse of Sarah Connor when she was in the.
Was it another sex scene?
Yes, it was another sex scene. Nice. It was great. It was great because she was the muscular Sarah Connor.
Now that I'm more sober, I actually did see that, and I realized I have seen it. I have seen it. Now that you're describing it to me,
you didn't want to concede to my argument earlier.
I don't remember your argument, but it's time to move on.
Neither do I.
And did Cameron direct Terminator 1 as well?
James Cameron, yes.
James Cameron, yeah.
Yep. I thought it was just 2.
No,
Aliens.
He's the originator.
Alien. That's what
created the Terminator franchise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, but Cameron did too.
Cameron did too. Yes, that's why Michael Biehn was in it and Bill Paxton.
Yeah. But by the way, we were mentioning the Edgar Wright thing earlier, and I don't know if you guys know, but like one of the points of contention for Edgar is when he was directing Ant-Man is that he actually didn't want to include lots of extra references to the larger Marvel universe because he felt like it was bogging down the movie. Yes. And one of the big scenes that was ultimately why Edgar Wright had to leave, it was Falcon. It was the inclusion of Falcon in Ant-Man because they wanted to set up future stories with the Avengers and stuff like that. So that was my attempt at a clever segue just to get us off of this whole subject.
Nice one.
I don't know how clever it was, but
I'll take the hint.
So I think we've waited long enough, and it is time to put a spotlight on Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1. Fair warning from this point on. And by the way, I'm very proud of us for not spoiling the Snyder cut. That was really awesome. But for this, for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we will be discussing spoilers because all of us have seen it now. And since it's fresh on everyone's mind, I'm just going to briefly go over what happened in that one. It was the episode was titled New World Order. And I think it does a lot to live up to that name by showing us that the world has been negatively affected by the blip, that's something I think a lot of fans have really wanted since, Endgame came out, and then Spider-Man just kind of made it all a funny joke for a few minutes and stuff. And people were like, wait, no, we have a lot of questions, So I think that's where this show started. And I think we kind of predicted that this show would do that because as a reminder, this is the show that was actually supposed to be Marvel Studios' first new streaming program on Disney Plus. It's just the nature of the way the pandemic played out while they were filming it in Europe prevented them from finishing in time. And because of the way WandaVision was filmed on a studio at a recording lot and everything, it made it easy for that show to finish and be ready to stream before. So this show was actually the one that was meant to come after also the Black Widow, right? Black Widow was supposed to come out too.
Eternals was supposed to be out.
Yeah, but in fairness, I don't think the Black Widow was ever meant to address the blip, right? I think that movie was supposed to be taking place in the past.
Yeah, it's kind of a prequel. It
yeah.
takes place after Civil War, but
Or we
Infinity
find
War.
out that Natalie was a life model decoy. That's the one that got sacrificed and got the soul stone.
Yeah,
that's what we find out.
But you know, what do you guys want to talk about? You want to tell us what you liked about this episode and what you didn't like, or you know, why don't you go, Coker?
I'll tell you what I liked about it, and that is, as you mentioned earlier, I stopped Disney Plus after The Mandalorian. Haven't watched a thing literally until this morning when I watched this episode. I knew nothing about it. Never watched a trailer. Literally didn't even see a headline. I didn't know about the show until you asked me about it a couple days ago, Dennis. So I knew nothing. Went in completely blind, and that was a wonderful experience. I'm at the point now where I try to avoid movie trailers because I feel like they show too much. They just show too much, and I like to go in fresh. This experience was dope. Really, really
Nice.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think it was enhanced by the fact that I didn't know what was coming, didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, I can honestly say I think this was enhanced for me by the Snyder Cut taking so much of the media attention, right? Like there's been so much talk about
It's like
that movie
a
leading
palate
up to
cleanser.
this movie just kind of, this show almost flew under the radar. If we weren't doing a podcast about Marvel like stuff and Marvel properties and stuff like that, I could see how this wouldn't, like our friend who's been a guest on this show a couple times, Clark, he did not even know that Falcon and the Winter Soldier was coming out today until I told him last night. So that's, you know, that's how much under the radar this has been for some people, you know, so, and I consider him quite the Marvel nerd. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to have this show just kind of drop with, like, literally the only scenes I've seen are because like Ricky started sharing them with us this week, you know, like,
it's also a palate cleanser from WandaVision with the frantic theory crafting that we've been doing for the past like 8 weeks. We could actually just chill and just enjoy a good action adventure show. And like, I don't know about you guys, but when Falcon was flying in that opening scene, that was dope. That was some dope
great
shit.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he would pack his wings and then like kind of free fall.
That was a Falcon fight
like,
scene. You know, we're used to seeing him fight as a unit with the other Avengers, and you know, in Winter Soldier, he had guns, but you know, we would slowly see him fight with his wings, and that opening scene with him in the desert, that was full on Falcon fighting like Falcon. You know, using his fist, using his wings in really cool ways, and that
he murdered some people too.
You know,
he murdered.
He put in work. He put in work.
You couldn't pop in another hero in that fight scene, and it wouldn't have worked. You know, that's not an Iron Man fight scene.
That's interesting.
That's
that's interesting you say that, because I actually loved the scene because I thought it felt like an opening scene to a Captain America movie. Like I had just gotten done watching the first trilogy, right? I watched most of the trilogy. I didn't finish Civil War this week, but I've watched enough Civil War to remember most of that movie.
You watched
the
trilogy.
But I didn't remember the first two very well. Or I mean, I do, but like not as well. And I was just so like in love watching, you know, the first scene, the opening scene of Winter Soldier all over again, where Captain America just jumps out of that plane, no parachute, nothing at all. And then he just goes into that boat and just starts kicking the crap out of everybody the way Captain America does. You know what I mean? And that's what I really liked about this scene, is it felt like, yes, I agree with you, Ricky. It was highlighting the character of the Falcon, but I think the action and the choreography, it could have been another character just done a little differently. But the way they made that whole scene an aerial battle where like the bad guy is hopping from helicopter to helicopter to helicopter, and like everything just felt like it was tailored to make Falcon shine, right? Like
totally. Well, one thing that you mentioned, the choreography, I really enjoy Batroc the Leaper, because his martial art
they brought him back.
His martial arts specialty is called savate. It's like a French martial art. It's like kind of like French kickboxing, and it's dope watching it play out, like when he's doing it, because like he does it like super sick. I think he's a savant master, right? The actual actor, George
Sapir.
What's his name? George's Foreman's.
George Sapir, I think it is.
Okay.
Coker, since you are like the person who didn't know anything going in or doesn't really remember a lot of the old stuff, did you recognize him?
I mean, I knew who he was. I know.
You mean the actor? Oh, right. But I'm saying, do you recognize him in Marvel?
No.
Oh, he played that same character in the Winter Soldier on the boat scene.
Oh, so it's been way too long. Okay.
He's the boss fight that Captain America has it's the mini boss fight. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So he's the guy. Boss. He does full on kickboxing against Captain America, and then he even eggs him on, and he's like, "I thought you were more than the shield." And then Cap puts away the shield and is like, "Let's go!" And they actually fight.
Wow. Okay, I got to go back and watch that again.
Cap and so that was a throwback because the character plays Batroc the Leaper, or I mean, the actor plays Batroc the Leaper, who's a really silly throwaway character in the Marvel universe. He's like a D tier or C tier, yeah. But his whole thing is he's very acrobatic and jumps a lot, you know, and stuff.
Okay.
And so they translated that as like, well, how do we make Batroc cool, ish? And so they made him GSB, yeah. And so I thought it was cool because he doesn't die in that movie. He kind of gets away, right? And so he
still doesn't die. That's cool.
No, he doesn't die. Exactly. And I like this new pattern that Marvel has of like trying to keep more and more villains alive so that you can reuse them again.
We can't lose him.
Yeah. But I love that because like I knew there was people who didn't recognize that is an existing Marvel villain that we've already seen before. But it's cool because like you still got excited by the scene, and it only adds to it if you do remember that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I like the plausible deniability too of Red Wing. He could be like, he's all Red Wing, get them off me, and then Red Wing just murders a bunch of people. He like murders people that have families, then he's all like, well, Red Wing did it. It wasn't
Red Wing definitely brings up some ethical questions, but we can save those for later.
I just said get them off me. I didn't say murder everybody and their family.
We talked a lot about Falcon, but what about Bucky? What did you guys think about Bucky?
Bucky was probably my favorite part of the episode. His episode arc a little more because you get to see him in a post Endgame life. He's not a soldier anymore. He's a civilian. He's pardoned. He's trying to make amends with his past life, and that whole therapy scene was just like, wow, chef's kiss because he's struggling. He has some demons, but you can see him, wanting to make good and wanting to make amends, and they show his I guess crimes against that I can't remember the name, but the guy's son, and you feel for that. That's some heavy stuff right there.
Yeah. I want to know, Ricky, specifically, how validated did you feel to hear them through exposition explain that he has now been pardoned for his crimes?
Pretty good. That was a big beef.
Does it make you feel okay with the possibility that he could be a Captain America now?
I don't think he could be a possibility, but the one thing that did open my eyes is normal people don't know who he is.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, he did.
Darcy probably does, and Jimmy Woo.
Just as a reminder, Coker hasn't watched WandaVision. So
sorry. They're all knowing. They're all knowing characters
because his face is only shown when he's a hero. When he was the Winter Soldier, he always had that half mask on, so his identity is kind of still unknown to the world. Versus Falcon, where he's kind of like a B-list celebrity. Yeah.
No, I know it's kind of like a off topic, but like I was always kind of interested in Sebastian Stan in these movies because I didn't really know anything about him going into in the first Captain America movie. But then I kind of liked his character in Winter Soldier, but then I really liked him by Civil War. But like I saw him separately in I, Tonya, the movie with Margot Robbie, and he plays like her abusive. He plays her abusive boyfriend, and he is amazing in that movie.
Yeah,
and
that was brilliant.
Ever since then, I've been waiting to see Marvel use him as and show a lot more range and show a lot more complexity. And Like you said, yeah, and abuse, and we need to see the abuse.
Okay,
but no, Ricky, like you're so right. Like that therapy scene, just I was so
even
on
the way
board.
they shot it too, the angles they were using.
I was about to
Who
point
plays
that
the
out.
therapist?
Yeah,
She looks
I don't
familiar.
know. I don't
I've
know
seen her
what film.
before. Yeah, I don't know
She
her name,
killed
but I've
it.
seen her
She
before.
killed
She
that
was
scene.
great. She was
Yeah.
great.
The tight camera angles to make you feel claustrophobic was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
I
that super
appreciate
shallow
that.
depth of field right on their faces. That was cool.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good exposition in this show that didn't feel forced because it felt
No.
like mostly there was all casual conversation that was taking place that happened to explain the situations that are occurring right now in the story or in the world that they live in, you know.
It was like I was watching a good movie and not a Marvel movie. It was really interesting.
I think that might be
No, I mean, I
the best praise you can get from Frank, just so you know.
I would agree with Frank on that though. There wasn't. I mean, kind of like back to the Edgar Wright thing we touched on. Like, they weren't setting up a bigger world. They're setting up Falcons.
But they were.
But they're setting up Falcons.
The
role in that
microcosm of
world.
Falcon and
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think they did both at the same time. I think they set up the bigger world and made you understand that there's like there's a group of people out there in the world that liked it better the way it was before Bruce Banner brought back the billions of people that were lost.
Mhm.
And I think that there's people that were exploiting the unrest that's occurred after that. And I think, you have these people like the Flag Smashers that were referenced as being a group that wants to see a world without borders, or at least that's what they claim to want to see.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I feel like there's more to that for sure.
Mhm.
But but I think that's a cool place to set the world that these characters live in. But on a more granular note, like it was nice to see the Falcon go home to New Orleans and we got to meet his family and we got to see that, even though he's this big time superhero, like he's still got financial problems to deal with because apparently they have not been getting paid well.
They do not
like
get
we
stipends.
thought. Yeah.
Nope.
That wasn't that a question we had like 2 weeks ago.
I'm kind of bummed. I'm
Yeah.
bummed that we passed on the shrimping boat or the boat that they have, the seafood boat. I'm all like, dang! I kind of wanted to do it like as a joke, but then like I didn't end up doing it. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we brought this up a few weeks ago. Like, weren't they getting paid? Like, why is he?
Yeah, because people were like, "How did
struggling with money?
Vision afford a house?" Spoilers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it turns out
they're hurting.
Yeah, is there some kind of
He has
hero
no-
fund?
Like,
that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Right?
no, but I did
And he's
like.
Can you take a selfie with me? And
Yeah.
I'm all like, well,
Yeah.
well,
I
read the
did
room,
like-
buddy.
I did like that the show was asking a lot of the little questions, to help us understand. Like, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that Spider-Man: Far From Home really glossed over, as far as how does this world work after billions of people disappear for 5 years and then come back. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think-
What I
it
really
was-
appreciate about it though is that they don't dumb it down. Like they don't need a Darcy
No.
Lewis to come and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is what happened." Like they can just straight up tell you by showing you what happened and why this guy
Mhm.
can't get a loan. He has not had an income for 5 years, and then the ramifications of that. That's
yeah.
great.
Did you
Yeah.
like that War Machine cameo?
Good
I
old
did.
Cheetah.
I liked it because it was organic. It
He
and
had
it
a
didn't,
reason to be there.
he did have a reason to be there, and he didn't have to be somebody that comes and saves the day later. Or like
He wasn't an
it just-
exposition drop.
No, well, yes, he was. He was.
Well,
He was an exposition drop, but it was an organic conversation that he was having with Falcon. They definitely, have the question. We're like, why didn't you take up the mantle? And so, there was exposition there, but it was so wonderfully written that it didn't come off as that.
Well, it was two. They were both in the B string Avengers team. It was like War Machine and Wanda, Falcon.
He had his legs back too, right?
Ant-Man.
No, Ant-Man was on the B roll, not on that
No,
team.
I don't think you can tell he has his legs back based on him wearing pants.
Lieutenant Dan,
Well, he had,
they're
like,
titanium,
That's my
like the
dog's
space
name.
shuttle. Is he Lieutenant Dan?
That's
Yeah,
his
he's-
dog's name, yeah.
He's missing a leg.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Bring
wow.
him on camera.
Oh man, you're gonna exploit the dog's disability for entertainment? All right, I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Yes. Well, because I like the doggy. He looks cute. I've seen him all morning. He was like barking and being cute.
What's up, puppy?
Hey,
What's
buddy.
up, puppy?
Hey, buddy.
There's
You can hang out
Lieutenant
here.
Dan.
Look at me.
Lieutenant Dan.
Nice. Very cool.
Okay, but yeah, no, I don't think I don't think he necessarily means his legs have been fixed or whatever. It's just, the technology that he's using is more hidden, whatever he's using to walk.
So many mentions though. They mentioned Wakanda. They mentioned like the vast landscape of Marvel. Like almost every place they mentioned.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah.
And how Bucky finally found his peace there, right? For a little bit, like but now Wakanda's probably crappy too because there's no Black Panther. Like,
you got to go to Zamunda. You got to move there now.
I love that
next Doria.
I love that our audience has been quiet, and then a puppy shows up, and then you get this.
Course.
Yeah,
these are everything. I got to say, it was disheartening to see that even after billions of people miraculously disappear for years and then come back, a brother still can't get a loan. That's ridiculous.
Well,
but you know what though? One thing that I really appreciate about that scene was when the guy at the banks, so Sam pointed out, I know we're eligible for a small business loan, and dude said, under the old rules, but we got people, flowing in here every day trying to start, and it kind of went, that fits. I mean, all these people are suddenly back. All these businesses need to start up. They can't just give money to everybody. Kind of worked.
Coker, I have a question to that. So you say it was disheartening to see that, but is it disheartening on the bigger picture if that was actually their intent to address?
No, I think it absolutely was. I was just making a joke. I think that was very intentional.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot to be said about the direction this show is going. If the government convinced Sam to give up Captain America's shield, only to go and give it to a white man to replace Captain America.
That's one thing I didn't like about that Rhodey scene is I would have thought they would have touched on the race thing in that conversation. That seemed
because I think Sam is always I don't think so. I think it's fine that it didn't, because like Sam has always trusted Cap, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Not like the government necessarily. Sam has trusted Cap. Cap has always been Sam's moral compass, and that's why Sam has always been, he's a ride or die for that guy, man. He goes everywhere with Captain America. But now there's no Cap to go with anymore. And so I don't think he ever had to worry about, like, surprisingly, Captain America being racist. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a Cap now, so he can be friends with the new Cap.
Yeah, well, but you know what I mean? So I don't think it was even a question for either, Rhodey or Sam about, well, what do you think about racism? Like they're in their little Avenger world, like everybody was cool with everybody. You know what I mean?
Rhodey's super patriotic too. Rhodey is like ride or die for America.
Rhodey's ride or die for America. Yeah. So that might that may be problematic later.
That right there, I thought was another interesting juxtaposition between Sam and his sister. Because in the bank, he was sitting there saying, he was talking about it the whole time, like, oh yeah, they'll get us taken care of, we're good. And she was saying, bruh, you don't know reality, Mr. Hero Man, Mr. God Bless America. Mm-hmm. Here's what's going down. I thought that was a really, really cool kind of offset between those two.
Yeah, well, because it does bring up an interesting question, possibly, right? Which is, if we already know that race relations in our America are pretty shitty. What were they like in the blip world? You know what I mean? Like, was it worse? Was it
right?
It's a shame that the blip couldn't bring people together. That's like that I think is the real tragedy of this story.
But I think that's awesome too. I think that's awesome.
It's great to watch. It's great to watch because it gives us some drama.
Sad to think about.
But it's sad that us humans, half of us go away and we
Yep.
can't just bury the hatchet and like make a better world. That sucks.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Sorry, let's talk about some real stuff, like the squirrels, like their little squirrel costumes that they were floating. No more race stuff.
I'm actually really excited about the possibility of that, because when we were talking about the comics that are inspiring this show, we were talking about potentially this series being influenced by Nick Spencer's run on Captain America or Falcon Captain America.
Yeah.
And in that story, it's exploring the idea that there are two different Americas, one for Black Captain America and one for White Captain America, and so I'm kind of excited to see, like, if I hope that the lone scene is not the last of that, in this show.
Oh no, yeah,
they said it wouldn't be. They said actually it would go to like Watchmen levels of like showing.
I hope so.
Yeah, no,
I hope
it
so.
mentioned Watchmen and
okay, that I didn't. So, like, again, I'm going into this pretty cold, so I didn't know what they were gonna do or what not, but like I was so happy to see them doing that, because
I don't think it'll go full Watchmen from what I've read, but I think it will go MCU Watchmen, which is still pretty good for MCU, to be honest.
yeah.
I mean, the last thing we saw in the MCU that would kind of touch on this type of topic was Black Panther, but I think this struck more of a familiar chord than the stuff that was tackled in Black Panther.
Yeah, but it made Killmonger a better villain, because you can kind of side with Killmonger, and he's probably the best villain in all of freaking MCU, I would say. Like, because you can actually sympathize with him. There's no other villain that you can really sympathize with, or like be like, you know what?
I don't know. I kind of agree with Mickey Rourke,
but George Batroc is a close second.
You're right. I agree with the dark elf in Thor: The Dark World. You're right. I forgot about that.
Thanos was right.
Yeah, Thanos was right.
Less traffic is better.
But in any case, I was excited about the potential. But like, I like how the episode just gave you tastes of what it could delve into, like, through the rest of the season. But I like that it was mostly a character episode. Like, it was mostly like, let's slow down a little bit and show you the life of Sam Wilson. Let's show you the life of James Barnes. Like, and they were both lives that I was really interested in seeing. Like, I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, this is really sad. What Bucky's doing is that he's going and hanging out and being friends with the parents of people he murdered. Like, that sucks. Like,
it's kind of awkward.
But yeah,
that's like his therapy, though. Like, he's
making amends.
He needs that closure.
It's true.
By the way, I really loved going back to that therapist scene. I loved when they were talking about the rules, and they said rule number 1. He said, don't do anything illegal. He puts the little bug on the car and does something illegal. Rule number 2, don't hurt anybody. He cracks dude in the grill. That was great.
No, that was pretty good. That was it was all of it. All of it was so good. It was such a fun treat. I was so glad to be sober by the time I watched that again.
I want to talk about the appropriate music selection. Like, the music was really good, and it's kind of one of those unsung heroes when it's scored rather than soundtracks, because you don't really know that it's good, but it is good. Your brain knows that it's good most of the time, right?
It feels good.
Unlike what we watched earlier, where the music choices were bad, like really bad. And then our brains picked up on that instantly.
And we were instantly saying, "This music is bad." Like,
this music is bad.
Yeah. You're right. That actually is a good point. Like, the action sequence, that music was just perfect. Like, I was in that moment. Like, I was like, dude, did you see that guy pulled the parachute and all of that? So cool, like,
when the Winter Soldier flashback, they played kind of his theme,
and it got really dark, right? Like, the music got really intense, and we're like, is this bad guy Winter Soldier? What's going on here? Like,
yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Sub-Zero showed up? What the hell?
That's a good point, Frank. I hadn't really considered that, but that was legit. Like, that was the unsung hero of that episode for sure.
Did anything in the episode not work for you?
Yes.
Tell me.
I mean, they were minor, but first of all, Red Wing is a freaking weapon factory. How does all that crap fit into that little tiny robot?
I totally had that question written down. That is exactly. I want to know
unauthorized drone strikes are a hot button issue in this country. So,
how does that little thing that fits on his back carry that much ammunition? Like,
seriously. I think in that one flight against the helicopters, it dropped 2 missiles and a freaking machine gun after a welding torch. Like, that's pretty impressive for that little dude.
Yeah, agreed.
One thing I'm down to do the suspension of disbelief thing, but one thing that bugged me though for real was after Red Wing lasered open the back of the plane, nothing was really getting sucked out at all. He just flew in and they were fighting. And the only time you even saw a hint of stuff getting yanked out the door was when Sam threw a guy right next to the door and he went shoop and got sucked out. There would have been stuff flying all over the plane, I'm imagining, but whatever, fiction.
Was it pressurized?
I don't know. It depends. Like we're not experts on that.
How high it would be too, right?
Yeah, go back and.
I'm no expert.
You have to assume if it's low enough that Sam can fly without a mask, you know what I mean, or that it's probably not going to have as much pressure as that if you were flying higher. And
did you guys like how they
helped that guy get sucked out though? So that's fine.
I guess not a retcon, but how they're interpreting the Flag Smasher as more of a group or a movement rather than a person.
Well, I think we don't know enough about it yet, but yeah, there's definitely a group.
Flag Smashers, sorry.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the 10 Rings. Like it's just
yeah.
It evolves from being.
I mean, it's a front. It's a front for something. Clearly, like we can get into the speculation in a few minutes, but it's definitely not. It's not the righteous group that it pretends to be. I'm pretty sure that's what we're gonna. Yeah, I will say, and this is I was having a hard time coming up with negatives that I thought of this episode, but I think if anything, I enjoyed so much seeing the little moments of the post blip realness that I feel like there should have been more. But I feel like that's how I always am with the Marvel Universe. It's like, you're not telling me enough how bad the world was for those 5 years and afterwards, So like, I could always use more of that. So I'll be patient and I'll just let the show see how much more of it shows me. Like, I want to see statistics. I want to know what the unemployment level is. I want to know what the new poverty line is. All these things. I want to see it all.
One thing that annoyed me, those damn kids were going to play video games the moment they left. Like,
everybody knew that.
Wait a few minutes.
Seriously,
let them drive away. Don't go straight for the video games because the parents come back. They're sneaky. Parents are sneaky.
Yeah, they would have been busted.
Exactly.
In the post show, I'll be sure to ask you what the sneakiest thing your parents caught you doing was, but we're not going to do that one right now.
I got a bad connection.
They put a lock on my Nintendo. They put a lock on my Nintendo to ensure.
Yeah.
What? It was a little muddy. So Sam is essentially like a government contractor.
He's working for the Air Force. But yeah, I think it's as a contractor, maybe. Yeah.
He's a mercenary.
I don't think he's operating as a civilian for sure.
I don't think he's a merc.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe he could be.
I did like that they set up the action scenes, established rules, and then tried to find a way to work within those rules. Like, oh, Libyan airspace is right over there, and they won't like it if blah blah blah. So you have to stop him before he reaches that line. And so I did appreciate that, and it was really fun to see. I will say this: if you notice, right at the very last second, Sam flies in, grabs that guy that's the asset that they want, and then as they're flying out, you see missiles coming to hit the thing. So was America just going to blow up the helicopter with the asset, and they just got lucky because Sam saved the guy?
That's what America does in these movies.
Yeah,
okay, all right. I'm just making
real life into this.
Yeah. It just got a little weird. I can have more fun questions if you want. Like I got a question that's the inquiring minds want to know. How the hell does one play Battleship wearing leather gloves?
Impressive.
He's definitely got a robot hand. Like, I don't think that
he was playing with his right hand. I saw it. It was the right hand.
You cannot play Battleship with leather gloves? What's wrong with that?
Dude, those pegs are tiny.
That's a good point.
You could play Battleship with leather. I think you could play.
Okay, yeah. I cannot play Battleship in leather gloves. You guys impress me. Okay,
We'll do that on air. Winner fights the loser on the
Next
Multiverse
episode.
Bingo. Yeah.
I thought it was funny that it was the old Milton Bradley brand version instead of the Hasbro one.
Instead of the Hasbro one, yep.
Yeah.
Which is funny because isn't that a conflict of interest for them? Since
Well, no, because they own Milton Bradley. So
then never mind.
Milton Bradley is just Hasbro absorbs all things that they consume. So
I mean,
yeah.
I was
actually
pretty annoyed with them leaving the Shield in a bunk ass low security museum. Like,
oh, that's the Smithsonian. What are you talking? That's not a.
There was the Smithsonian, but no, I agree with you. They left it in a glass case, and it's vibranium. And we saw Eric Killmonger just steal the crap out of vibranium.
I'll give the benefit of the
vibranium.
doubt that it's
Like,
something more than a glass case, and
that
it didn't stay there for long because obviously they gave it to the other guy.
And you know what was shady about that? It's the same guy that
It's
thanked
same
Falcon
guy
for donating to. You made the right choice. And then later at the end, he's like, "America needs symbols," and I'm like, "What a dick, dude! What a dick!"
There he is, the dick move.
But I think, Coker, you had asked me before the show, and we promised that we would tell you. You wanted to know who the new Captain America is.
Well, actually, my question is, as a regular ass person, should I know? Is this somebody that was shown in another MCU flick that I should be familiar with?
As a regular ass person, you should not know who this is yet, so you will know soon.
All right.
It's Kurt Russell's son.
It's Mephisto.
That's who it is.
It is Ultron. No, actually, it's so they in the comic books they have a guy called U.S. Agent, and he's kind of like a fill-in for Captain America. Apparently, they're calling him Captain America, so I guess he's Captain America now.
But his real name is John Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like who we used to work with at Sony.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes. I always geeked out at the fact that I knew a person named John Walker because he's the U.S. agent.
Heck yeah.
No, like I think. I mean, it's it's a little early we don't know for sure that they won't call him the U.S. agent at some point.
Sure. They call him Captain America, though, right
But
now.
in fairness, in the comics, U.S. agent does adopt the moniker of Captain America at a certain point, too. Because
and the costume.
Exactly.
Everything.
Because there comes a point where I think, Captain America starts down that path of rejecting the notions of the government being America. And he has a very different idea of what America is. And so when his ideology becomes a direct conflict with American business, he either quits or he gets fired. I can't remember as Captain America.
It's happened a few times.
It's happened more than once for sure. And so I think one of the earlier times is they're like, you know what? We don't need you. We'll just get another white guy that looks just like you, and we'll put him in the costume and stuff.
Wow.
And so I'm interested to see what the character does, but I don't know how many of you noticed, but that dude's carrying a piece.
Yes.
And you didn't even let me finish my sentence.
Oh, I was to bring it up.
He had a gun. Yes.
Yep. To be fair, Captain America, First America was.
Yeah, but that was because he was fighting a war.
So did Bucky post Civil War.
II.
Bucky dresses Cap post Civil War had a piece also.
Yes.
And that's mostly what it reminded me of, actually.
But I was a little uncomfortable given the tone of the episode, what they were dealing with, than to have him just openly at a press conference,
open carry,
rocking
baby.
that gun.
USA.
That was a thing. That was a little special.
Is the historically speaking, is U.S. Agent to Captain America what War Machine is to Iron Man?
No, not really at all.
He's like a well-meaning antagonist, I would say.
I would say Bucky and Sam are to Captain America what War Machine is to Iron Man.
Yeah.
But like,
interesting.
John Walker has not necessarily always been on the side of right.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think you could phrase it like he's on the side of America,
which is not always on the side of right. And is very often not on the side of right. Yes. So
that
lawful good, but strictly lawful good.
That's got some interesting potential spider webbings. I like that.
Yes. Yeah. So I was excited when he was one of the few things I knew about this show going in. And I was excited about that because I like the idea of John Walker being on the show. Another character. What was that?
No, it fits really well. Cap's gone. I like how they didn't tease what happened to him. they don't say what happens to.
Yeah,
He's on a
Darcy
moon
just
base.
show up and he's old now.
He's on a moon base.
He's on a moon base,
But
like Umbrella Academy.
But I like that the question was asked. Like I was saying earlier, I like that all the big questions were being asked about, their lives and the world they live in and stuff like that. I will say another character that we did know was going to be on the show that has not shown up yet was Zemo, the villain from Civil War, is supposed to be making a comeback in this show. What do you guys think? Do you guys think he's behind the Flag Smasher?
Like he could have installed him as a figurehead, kind of like Eldritch Killian in Iron Man 3, how he installed Trevor as the figurehead for the 10 Rings. So
yeah,
I'd be curious to know what Zemo's beef is, like his specific beef, because in the Avengers he was specific, or sorry, in Civil War he's specifically targeting the Avengers.
Well, he wanted to get rid of heroes. He wanted
not in Civil War. He wanted to tear apart the Avengers, which is why he, did the Bucky killing his parents reveal.
But did it work though? If the Avengers are still around,
kinda.
They broke up, kinda.
But then they came and defeated Thanos and saved the universe.
But at this point in time, there are no Avengers.
Wait, how do you know that?
From what it looks like, there are no Avengers.
How do you know?
I would assume if there were Avengers,
Falcon
would be getting paid.
He assumed. No, but I'm saying like I don't know that they were ever getting paid. I think that's what was implied, right? Like
yes.
Yeah.
I assume that Stark would have had like a foundation or something for the event, like he does in the freaking comic books.
Maybe Pepper just was like, "This money is mine," and she just took it all.
My precious.
Like, you don't get any of it. I put up.
How is Bucky getting money? Like,
she sits on the money like Smog. Like
that dude probably has no social security number. Like
he has a social security number, but the therapist knows that he's over 100.
Yeah, his social security number's 2 or 3.
Yeah, like 10. Yeah.
I love that he's 106 years old. That was so cool.
Who was who was Falcon's new friend? Like who's that guy?
Mr.
I like that guy.
Not
the old man. Not the old man.
No,
his buddy that was watching him. No, his buddy that was watching him do when he was doing the wiring, when he was working out the wiring.
Oh, Falcon's new friend.
Torres.
Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Bucky. Yeah,
I thought you said Bucky's new friend, and I said
Falcon. Rewind the tape.
I said I thought you said Bucky.
Oh,
Torres. Yeah, Torres was interesting. I actually was kind of hoping you would know who he was, Frank. Because
I don't know who he is.
I don't recognize him. I liked him. Coker was mentioning to me that he found him a little too suspicious.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was on the first pass, so I watched it solo early this morning, and then I watched it again like an hour or two ago with Wifey. And when I watched it this morning, I felt like he was a little suspicious, just kind of asking too many questions, being a little prying when he in that first scene sitting with Falcon. I also thought it was really weird that Red Wing was just sitting there halfway out of a bag in the open at some cafe. But then, without me having said a word, when my wife was watching it with me a little bit ago, she said, "I don't think I trust this dude. He's too nosy." So I don't know if it was intentional, but to us it came off as him being a little too diggy.
I don't know that
ass right? Coke.
What's that?
Have you seen Blade 2?
It's been ages, but yeah, I've seen it.
I see where you're going with that.
Did he give you Scud vibes from Blade 2?
Scud.
Was it Scud? Scud, right? Yeah.
I think that was his name.
He was the one that betrayed.
Too long.
He tried to betray Blade, and then Blade was all like, "Nah, I knew all along," and blows up his head.
Oh snap! Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Torres' brains all over the place if he gets out of control.
No, but I don't. I think the ass whooping that Torres took makes him on the up and up.
That's where it kind of brought me back. Yeah,
that foot stomp on his face was brutal, man. And
that was serious.
And clearly, that guy is enhanced, right? We haven't asked the question. Who's that guy?
Well, Torres did ask that question. Like,
well, he tried to. He tried to, and then Sam cut him off.
I thought he was gonna say mutant or something.
You're waiting for the mutant. We got to get the mutants.
Or inhuman, right?
Yeah, they took it right to the line too. Didn't he say? Do you think he was a
Yeah.
And go, that's
exactly. Yeah.
They didn't go there. That was cool.
You could have said pro wrestler.
Like you wouldn't say, do you think he was enhanced?
An alien?
Ninja?
Yeah, sure.
A ninja? Yeah. A moon man? No, we don't know. Yeah, I see your point though. That is valid. They could have been going there, but I feel like Marvel is just gonna play with you specifically, Ricky. They like messing with you and your need to have everything.
Well, they did a lot of that in this episode. You know, I got my money question, I got the pardon question with Bucky. You know, it's
they care about you specifically.
Mm-hmm. They take my money.
They know that the three of us are too old now to keep supporting them for much longer, and that you are the new generation. So phase 4, 5, and 6 is all about Ricky.
They have a camera right in your room right there.
Yeah, they're literally watching you right now.
So you need to watch out.
Okay, well, I think should we take a look at the bingo card? Like, should we, like Coker? I think we were telling you about it a little bit, but we set up a bingo card with predictions, and I think each of us was hoping to maybe like make a game out of it outside of the game. But you want to hit the button, Ricky?
You didn't win today, Coke. Sorry.
Dang it.
Yeah.
So we made bingo cards, and we decided that we would announce this week that for every square on our card that gets checked, we'll be donating to a charity of our choice. I don't know about you guys, but I decided that I would be donating $10 for every square on my card to United Cerebral Palsy. It's just a foundation that I care a little bit about. So what about you guys? And then Coke, where will you be donating your money? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you won this week, actually. I was wrong. Yeah. You won. Go and open up your wallet.
I think I won this week. But
I got Big Brother, Big Sisters of San Diego. It's
okay, cool.
Something near and dear. So
you've actually been a part of that program before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. And then Frank.
For the incident.
I've decided the Poor Franks Club of America. It's for people named Frank. No, actually,
Frank's wife's car fund.
That's gonna be painful. I was thinking about something with the orphanage because I watched what's it called, the Queen's Gambit recently, and
great show.
I really want to get a bunch of green pills in their lives and hopefully some chess in their hands. So hopefully I can help them out.
Can I change my answer?
I've been making jokes about orphans lately, so I feel like they've got their comeuppance. They're due this time around.
Anya Taylor-Joy will make the jump to the MCU?
Yes, she already did.
She already did, yeah.
She was in the New Mutants.
She was Ileana Rasputin.
Oh, you watch. It's going to be retconned into the MCU.
I do like that movie. She was
or they'll do some stunt casting.
Yeah, she was good. Let's bring up the card so we can see.
All right.
So each one of us has a card with our predictions, and I marked in green anything that actually was officially mentioned or showed up in the episode. I want to clarify something. The credits sequence of the episode was really cool because they intentionally left out actors' names for characters they showed on the screen, and because they didn't necessarily appear in this episode. I don't want to use the credits yet to start marking our thing, right? If we get desperate by the last episode and we're like, we were so close to winning, then maybe I'm cool with letting the credits fly as like letting them play out. But for right now, I'm just sticking to everything that happened in the actual episode. If they were referenced, if they talked, if they showed up, whatever, then it counts. So far, obviously, we all had one gimme on our board, which surprisingly, Ricky, you didn't even get your gimme yet.
You didn't get your gimme, yeah.
No.
Yeah, actually, I think we had 2 gimmies. But I got Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, because he was in the episode. Yeah. I also got Thanos / the Blip. I kind of put both as the same thing because I was like, they're either going to say one or the other, But we were pretty certain that they were going to mention the Blip, and it ended up being a very important part of the episode. And then we knew from casting rumors that Don Cheadle would be coming back at some point in the show. Did not expect him to show up in like the first 10 minutes. Yeah. The first 10 minutes of the first episode, yeah. But there it is. So those are the 3 I got. So at the end of the season, I'll set up the donation. I'm not going to start donating everyone.
Give them like $10 every.
Yeah, no. And you tell me, guys, if I missed anything that I forgot to mark or anything on your bingo card.
Yeah.
But there's Frank's. Frank, what do you got here?
Frank had a good card.
Sam Wilson, of course. We knew that the Falcon would make an appearance, and I was not disappointed by his appearance. And Red Wing, the murderous AI that is on his back, he showed up too. Almost got mutants, but didn't quite stick the landing there.
Oh, and then the other gimme you had was Helmet Zemo, which is not shown up yet.
Oh yeah, and Mephisto being in it too. So
that's not gonna happen.
I would have made an argument for longing rested 17 Daybreak.
But credits.
I would have made that argument though. If it would have been on my card, I would have made that argument. Now I'm really indifferent.
But I'm totally down to let that thing be allowed at the end of the season if it doesn't show up. I want to give these things the chance of actually showing up in the show.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the problems we did with WandaVision is we were like holding on to the things that ended up in the intro credits, and like they never like actually mattered to the show, and that was kind of a bummer, right? So that's my opinion. Oh,
That's
Ricky
fair.
just skipped his. He's like, my card sucks. Nothing happened.
It does.
No, let's look at his card. I want to laugh at his card. I'm just kidding. You don't have to, Ricky.
Avian telepathy. He has avian telepathy on his card.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
What kind of person has avian telepathy on their card? Fools.
I believe.
I have avian telepathy on my card.
No, you don't.
Yeah, he does.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's gonna happen.
And then the guests here, I did not expect it this soon either, but he legitimately talked in this episode. Steve Rogers, aka Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually that pulled on my heartstrings, guys, a little bit. Like, I love that scene. That is my favorite scene. It's my favorite scene of the whole movie. And just to have him say, like, what do you think of the shield? Like, doesn't feel like mine. Well, it is, you
better grow into it.
Yeah, I really love that moment in the movie, and so like it was so nice to hear Chris Evans' voice there again. And then obviously, like we discussed, John Walker is there. So I don't know, Coker, do you have any ideas for how we should handle this for donations for the guest card? Because we just wanted to have a card that could represent whoever comes on our show. But like, do you want to throw throw a charity of my into the ring, and then like maybe at the end of the season we do like a lottery to figure out which guest's charity gets extra contribution?
If the guest wins, I'd be down to go in on it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you have a charity of choice that you'd want us to donate to? If the
Poor Frank's Fund is pretty good.
That's true. The Winfield Car Note Fund. Nah, man, I'm feeling kind of militant after seeing that loan get denied. So maybe the NAACP.
That's fair. We'll write it down and we'll include that. I think that'd be cool to have like a lottery or something, so that at the end we fix it so that the certain people don't get their choices even allowed, and we just be like, yeah, the new rules don't really allow for that kind of thing to happen. No, I'm just kidding. Write down NAACP, and then we'll put that in the list, and then at the end of the 8th episode, we'll pick one for that too, and that should be I hope that it just makes the stakes a little higher, and it makes it a little bit more fun for us to guess, and I hope it keeps us from going crazy and doing like weird, rabbit hole theories.
Yeah, making Ultron videos and shit.
Yeah, we're just doing this for fun because like we care about this stuff and we want to see fun things happen. But I appreciate the straightforward nature of the show. But yeah, Coke, do you have anything else you want to add to the before we sign off soon?
I do. I want everyone out there, especially the young people, to always remember this: never, ever, ever bring a knife to a gunfight, and especially don't bring a freaking wingsuit to a Falcon fight. You're not going to get away, dumbass. That's it.
That's great. I'm pretty sure some of that scene was actual, like, real footage, right? Like that
it definitely looked like it.
It was
amazing.
Legit looking. Yeah,
that was amazing.
That was It was beautiful.
And
Well,
the rest of the budget's going to be all stick figures, and it's going to be like just
Yeah.
they blew all their money.
I definitely was thinking, did these guys blow the budget? I'm really afraid they blew the budget.
They're like, thank God, WandaVision first episodes are set in the 50s, practical effects.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I think we got to get going. I think, if you enjoyed what we had to say or enjoyed hanging out with us, you're welcome to do it a little longer when we switch over to the patreon.com/DenXmedia and we do the soapbox where we just kind of wind down from today. But before we go, if anybody has anything that they'd like to share where people can find you, please speak up now. Let people know.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean,
Ricky the Nerd, Instagram. That's where I'm at.
Nice.
And I think that's all. I'm the only one sharing.
It's okay.
I'm at Bomangani on Twitter. If you could figure out how to spell it, then maybe every once in a while I'll have something interesting to say.
Nice.
You can find me panhandling in front of 7-Eleven to pay for my wife's car. So,
respect.
And as always, you can find me on DenX Media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, and just making videos of either toys or talking about mostly Marvel stuff. But yeah, I think I want to thank Coker for joining us.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thanks to, again, for Ricky and Frank for being here and holding it down. Even though, Frank, I appreciate that you showed up, even if it had to be a little late. You did the job. You watched the show and you jumped right on. That's cool.
Yep.
So yeah, and thanks to our audience for tuning in. If you had fun, please remember to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching Den Excelsior. See you next time, true believers.
Peace.